Welcome to Majesty's House of Music. Now, this is going to be a full course on the key of C. Previously, we did a course on the key of F sharp. So we'll be covering these keys one at a time. So for this particular course, we are going to be using the key of C. So C is particularly a very familiar key with most of you guys. So we are going to do some advanced movements, advanced voicings, and see what some of these professionals use to embellish their playing, to make them sound better. So basically we are going to be looking at, in this first course, we are going to be looking at chord work mostly. So how you use diminished chords, how you use augmented chords, how you use all those kinds of chords to embellish your playing. In future courses we'll do other things, but for now we'll start with chord work. So in this first chapter, we are going to be looking on voicing embellishments, like how do these professionals voice their chords. So we'll start with this common chord that people like to use. So that's pretty much a C major chord. So that's a C major chord. Now, as you can see, it looks very basic. Yeah? And trust me, that is not what a professional would use. Trust me. So this is very basic. So I'll take you on a few steps you can use to turn this kind of voicing into something that looks professional. You don't have to be a professional to do this. So so this is your C major chord. Now, the first step that these guys use is what we call extensions. So instead of just playing like this, you could play like this. Okay, so that sounds a little bit more professional. Maybe for those who are intermediate, that's what they use. So let's say something of that sort. So that's pretty much still a C major chord, but now you can see that your right hand is your first note starts on the G. So you have your G, your C, your E, and your G. So you have something like. So that is still okay. It's not bad to voice your C chord like that. Now let's see what else they do. The other thing they can do is, so you have your C major chord. Now instead of playing it this way or this way as we played it, you could decide to add a few notes, so to make it sound better. So the first note you could add is your 2. So you hear the difference between this and this. Or even if you don't want to extend, just play it this way. Still sounds good. So you have your G, C, D, E, and G. So that pretty much makes it an add 9 chord. So something of that sort. So you have 1. You have an add 9 chord. So play it, combine both hands, your left and your right hand, you have something of this sort. So that we are still advancing, sounds a little bit more professional, but that's not the end yet. So Then what else can you do to make your C chord sound better? That's the 2 note we've added to make it an add 9. We can also decide to make it a major 7 chord. So if we make it a major 7 chord, this is how it will look like. So you have your C, E, D, C, E, G, and B. So that's how your major 7 chord will look like. So whichever inversion you decide to use, so you could use this, you could use this, you could use this, or you could use this. So whichever inversion you decide to use, as long as it's a major 7 chord. So if you decide to extend the major 7 chord, maybe this is how it will look like. You will have something like. So as you can see, I just repeated the G note. It's the bottom and at the top of my voicing. So let's play it with our left hand. You see that? That sounds much better. You could even decide to add both, the 7 and the 2. So let's say you add this 7th note and the 2nd note. So what you can do, you can just ignore the C note on your right hand because you have it on your left hand. So let the left hand do that work for you. Ignore the C note on your right hand. So you will have something like you have your 5, have your 7, you have your 2, you have your 3, and you have your 5. So you basically have something of this sort. Okay, so you have that could also be a nice one chord there. You could also add 6th note. So instead of just playing it this way or this way, you could add a 6th note. So you could have, see, still the same thing. You can combine all these things. You could add even the 6, the 7, and the 2. You could add all of them. So you will have, I'm going to use my thumb to play the 5 and the 6. Then you have the 7. You have the 2. You have the 3. And you have the 5. Then you have that chord as C major 7, 13. So all those are good options you could use to make your playing sound better. It doesn't have to be so complicated. So you could use, as we've said, this. So this is the major one, the add 9, the major 7, the C major 7 add 9. You could even add both of them like we said, so you could play. Then you could have the 6th, the 7th, and the 2nd. So you could have both of them. You could have even something like, you literally could have something like that. Every note on your scale except the 4. Every note. Or if you don't want to really compact your voicing, just extend your voicing. So you could have something of this sort. So that's the first trick these professionals use. By adding some notes. So instead of playing it all the time, you could employ some of those techniques. The second technique is your left hand. Your left hand is very important. So this is what most of us play. especially when you are playing alone. Now here we are assuming you don't have a bass guitar for the moment, so you are playing alone. So you have this, then let's say you want to sound more like a professional. This is what they do. See, so I have my C, G, C and D. I'm using my thumb to play both these notes. So it's like I'm having a C add 9 chord on my left hand if I do this, or a C suspended 2, they like to call it. So the other way is, instead of playing the 1 and the 2, I could play the 2 and the 3. So maybe play it higher. The other way, I just play the 3. So you have many options, and now that is when you are not playing with a bass guitarist. So you could use this, you could use this, you could use this, or this. So whichever of those options you decide to use. Now, if you are playing with a bass guitarist, you don't want to be playing these low notes. So you don't want to be clashing with your bass guitarist. So you don't want to be playing like this, yet you have a bass guitarist. These notes are not supposed to be heard, basically, when you are playing with a bass guitarist. So this is how maybe you would voice your C chord if you are playing with a bass guitarist. That's it. So you could have your one something like this. So you see where I started my voicing? I started from the 3 note, then the 5, then the 7. So I basically have a 3 chord on my left hand. Then I would play a major 7 chord on my right hand. So I have something like, then my bass guitarist would have to play the 1 note. And as you hear, it sounds perfect without the both of you clashing. So you could have that as your 1 chord. You could even just play the 3 and the 5. So you could have, maybe compact your voicing. So that's your 1 chord. You could do that for all the other numbers in the scale. So let's say you want to play your 2 chord. So you could have something like, maybe that. So you could have the 2 chord on your right hand. So, or maybe if you want to ignore this note, you just play that. You have your 4th and your 6th. So you have F and A. Then you could add even that G. So you could have that on your left hand. Then maybe you could have a 4 chord on your right hand. So you have something like, okay. For the 3 chord, same thing. So instead of you playing it this way, you could even play something of this sort, or maybe something. So